Try to be objective with all of my sports coverage, and listen, Jacy Sheldon objectively should be suspended for this play. I just don't know in what world, in what universe you watch that play back and you go, that was a basketball play. She was trying to make a basketball move, especially with all the angles of this.
The voices are becoming more audible. Basketball fans worldwide are seeking justice as the discontent reaches a breaking point. Following Jacy Sheldon's brutal attack on Caitlin Clark, the WNBA community has erupted in indignation, and they are making it very evident that they want Sheldon to suffer severe financial repercussions for her careless conduct, which could have put an end to the career of the biggest superstar in women's basketball.
Sheldon was clearly targeting Caitlin Clark most of this game, and that is, that comes from a function of, she guarded her in one-on-one situations a lot up the court, and then rolled into a lot of doubles in the half court, but there was talking and chirping all game, and for me, it was punctuated by Caitlin Clark's final play before she came out of the game, where she stares Jacy Sheldon down, essentially demonstrates, she's like, if you poke me in my eye, I will shoot it in yours. And she crosses her, finds the favorite spot, free throw line extended from the logo area, big fuck you 3 to Jacy Sheldon, yells at the Connecticut bench, yells at the crowd. Her and Jacy Sheldon come back together. Caitlin fires up the audience, basically tells Jacy Sheldon, you are a bum.
We saw yet another chapter in the ongoing story of Caitlin Clark being handled like a human punching bag as the WNBA looks the other way during what should have been a regular Tuesday night game between the Indiana Fever and Connecticut Sunday. But this time, the attack was so obvious and hazardous that even bystanders couldn't fail to notice Sheldon's motivation.
Every time Caitlin Clark takes the court, her opponents act like they've been booked for a main event brawl. The WNBA is doing nothing about it. Opponents aren't playing ball. They're strategically ambushing her. They're trying to injure her. Opponents bring chaos. She brings composure. And what Sophie did last night is completely valid. The WNBA has to do something about that.
While playing defense, Jacy Sheldon purposefully poked Clark in the eye. A move that might have seriously and permanently harmed the league's most valued player. This incident was made even more heinous by Sheldon's subsequent malevolent grin. Supporters quickly pointed out that this basketball play wasn't an accident. This was a planned attack on the lady who has single-handedly prevented the WNBA from becoming obsolete.
Clark and Jacy Sheldon. There is a legitimate hatred there. If you guys have heard, this Ohio State team, this 2023 Ohio State team hated that Iowa team. And this is Jacy Sheldon, who was Caitlin Clark's direct matchup in these games. Like I tweeted out, forget Angel, forget Dejanay. This is Caitlin Clark's one true rival.
If you're having fun, please subscribe. The events that transpired next were similarly unsettling. Sheldon proceeded to act aggressively by seizing Clark's arm and driving her claws into her flesh after jabbing her in the eye. An extra foul that the officials failed to call at all. When Clark was still flinching from the original injury, Marina Mabrey joined the assault by pushing her to the ground from behind, as if the eye poke wasn't enough.
Funny thing about that whole Caitlin and Jacy situation last night is it's like on a if you know thing. These two have been running the friendly fade on the court for like the last 4 years. They played in college, had great battles, so I'm not surprised last night happened.
The intensity of fan annoyance that had been growing for years was made clear in the immediate wake of Sheldon's attack. Fans demanded harsh punishment on social media within hours of the occurrence, ranging from huge fines to suspensions for the entire season. As fans of Caitlin Clark deluged Sheldon's Instagram account with harsh criticism remarks, ranging from calling her unprofessional and bitter to questioning if she belongs in any professional league, the hashtag #BanGSheldon started trending across several platforms.
Oh, you know what? I'm just going to be me. I don't go in there trying to predetermine anything. I'm dialed in. I need to focus on hitting my shots, making sure I'm executing the schemes right. I'm not focused on the extracurricular activities. And you know what? During that, it was just part of the game. I think the refs had a lot to do with that. It was a build-up for a couple of years now of them just not protecting, the star player of the WNBA. And so at the end of the day, I'm going to protect my teammates. That's what I do. And I'm a team player, so it's all good.
Even well-known members of the media joined the chorus of indignation. Jimmy Fallon addressed the WNBA leadership directly on The Tonight Show, asking, "What's going on in the WNBA? At all means, keep Caitlin Clark safe. Please, enough of this." When well-known entertainment personalities openly criticize the league's shortcomings, the issue goes beyond basketball. Barstool Sports' Dave Portnoy was unreserved in his criticism, labeling the attackers envious loser punks and advising them to join a recreational league where nobody is interested in them. The WNBA is not interested in this kind of widespread public attention. Bad press that highlights their repeated inability to safeguard their most important asset.
Look at it from behind or from the side. It's so obvious that she straight up leapt out towards Caitlin and got her right in the eye. And the more I try and watch it back and you try to be objective, there is no world where this was a basketball play. And yes, she was playing tough defense on Caitlin up until that point, but she leapt forward, and it's not like it's defensible where you can say she tried to get the ball, because her hand at that point was so far away from where the ball was. It's not like Caitlin was dribbling the ball up near her face. How she was not ejected for this, I don't know. The broadcast was talking about it, and that's why Sophie Cunningham even had the opportunity to hard foul her at the end. I don't know what you do, but the league's got to do something.
You must comprehend the enormous importance that Caitlin Clark adds to the WNBA in order to comprehend why fans are calling for Sheldon to receive such a harsh punishment. The statistics are clear and show that one guy is solely responsible for the league's present success. Dr. Ryan Brewer, an associate professor of finance at Indiana University Columbus, claims that Caitlin Clark was in charge of an incredible 26.5% of the WNBA's overall economic activity during her rookie season. To put this into perspective, that means that one player who was only earning $76,535 in her first season was accountable for more than a quarter of the league's financial success. Brewer's 2025 forecasts are even more astounding. According to his projections, Clark could have a total economic impact of around $1 billion for the WNBA this season. That's $1 billion with a B, which is a huge sum that surpasses the entire prior history of women's professional basketball. When one player is in charge of so much financial activity, it is not just immoral, but also financially disastrous to let her be singled out and possibly hurt.
How he'd stop the fighting, he thought they meant the WNBA. What is going on? Protect Caitlin Clark at all costs, please. Enough of this. Please.
The WNBA has responded to the Sheldon attack in a very pitiful manner. Sheldon was given a flagrant 1 foul, which entails a $2,000 immediate fine. A $400 fine was imposed when Marina Maber's technical fault was elevated to a flagrant 2. That's less money than most people spend on a great dinner. To put these penalties into perspective, Sophie Cunningham, who at last stepped up to protect Clark, was given 2 flagrant fouls during the game in addition to an additional, unannounced sanction from the league. The message is unambiguous. Defend Caitlin Clark and incur numerous penalties, but attack her and pay $200. The system is entirely outdated. Supporters are not only angry about the insufficient penalty, they are actively banding together to call for reform. Hundreds of signatures have been gathered in a matter of days for several petitions that demand harsher punishment. Everyone agrees. For the seriousness of the offense, the current fine structure is wholly inadequate. Campaigns on social media have emerged with particular needs. Tens of thousands of dollars in fines are being demanded by fans, who contend that anything less than a month's pay is insufficient to serve as a true deterrent. Some are even requesting that Caitlin Clark receive a percentage of any fine directly in exchange for the harassment she has faced.
Listen, bring Caitlin Clark to the NBA right now. because the refs ain't gonna protect her. She only got one teammate, and that's her, who gonna do something about it. Like, yo, yesterday, that's malice in the palace activity. Call for it. That y'all should have been throwing hands all over the place. How do you get poked in the eye, then get thrown to the ground, and then you receive a technical foul? And don't none of your teammates want to step up, fight, squabble, none of that. They just looking like, yo, it's been, we know that y'all been targeting Caitlin Clark now. Now, I'm even watching. I'm like, hold on, what? Like, how are y'all letting this happen? How are y'all not protecting this girl? Now, she clearly is a superstar, right? But there's plenty superstars in the WNBA, and don't none of them get treated the way Caitlin Clark get treated. Now, y'all gonna mess up and ruin the whole numbers, your ratings, your spawn, all that, if y'all don't have Caitlin Clark in y'all's league. So y'all better start acting right. I'm telling you.
The reasoning makes sense from a safety and financial standpoint. Had Clark's vision been seriously impaired by Jacy Sheldon's eye poke, the WNBA might have lost hundreds of millions of dollars in income. The WNBA's strategy to safeguard Caitlin Clark is completely nonsensical from a financial standpoint. The largest phenomenon in the history of women's sports is about to happen. A player who has increased their attendance, TV ratings, and retail sales, but who is still being singled out by players with agendas and resentment. When she performs, television ratings triple and teams are unable to sell seats. Without her, the wise corporate decision would be to guarantee her safety and prosperity by imposing harsh financial penalties on anyone who target her. As entire cities rearrange their venues to accommodate the audiences she attracts. Think about this: Clark's presence was largely responsible for the Indiana Fever's franchise valuation increasing from $90 million zero to $340 million zero in just 1 year. That is a value boost of $4 billion that can be attributed to just one participant. A $2,000 fine for attacking that player is not only insufficient, but also fiscally reckless when that magnitude of financial effect is involved.
This has been a very contentious 12 hours since the game. A lot of people on ESPN saying ridiculous things, like Monica McNutt saying she had no problem with Marina Mabry's foul. And I look at that in comparison to the Sophie Cunningham foul, which I have seen people say has no place in the league, unsportsmanlike, when that actually is a lot more sportsmanlike than the Marina Mabry one. Marina Mabry was completely disconnected from the play, had nothing to do with it. There was no play even going on when Marina Mabry did that.
Beyond just locating, supporters of Sheldon are increasingly claiming that Caitlin Clark should receive direct payment for the mistreatment she has experienced. The reasoning is simple. A player should receive more money than her usual salary if she is being singled out in ways that no other player in league history has encountered, and if this targeting is directly connected to her enormous value to the league. Bart's present income pales in comparison to her economic influence. She is earning $78,000 this season while contributing almost $1 billion in revenue to the league. That is a return on investment that would make any corporate leader smile. However, the league permits unpunished attacks on their golden goose. A protection bonus scheme, as suggested by some supporters, would require any player who flagrantly fouls Clark to give her a portion of their compensation. Others contend that Clark should receive extra payment from the league for his persistent treatment, which goes well beyond typical basketball competition. Considering Clark's unparalleled influence on the WNBA's financial performance, it would be just and economical to design a system of protection and compensation just for her.
What you have in Caitlin Clark is a once-in-a-generation talent. She was massively successful in college, and that's transcended into the WNBA, where she's leaps and bounds above pretty much most every player there. You're allowing her to get beaten up on the regular during games, flagrant fouls, people trying to take her eye out. That's happened a couple different times last year and this year. And you're not protecting.
The WNBA was committed to safeguarding their billion-dollar investment, as seen by the elegant structure. Entirely different players could pay $200 in fines out of their petty funds, but real penalties would require a sizable portion of their yearly salaries. Players like Sheldon would receive at least $25,000 as a true deterrence. Criminals or especially severe assaults fans are demanding automatic multi-game suspensions and fines of at least $50,000. The message must be unambiguous. You honor and defend the players who have contributed to the WNBA's financial stability if you wish to play in the league. Supporters want for Clark to get greater fines, in part, to recompense her for her extraordinary targeting and to punish aggressors.